Well, hello and welcome to the Infor 10X On-Air Summit. I'm Laura Matheny, and I'll be your moderator today. This is day 4 of a week of webinars scheduled to share information with you on Infor 10X, the latest release of Infor's business applications. 10X delivers major enhancements across all of our business applications that help you work smarter and faster. We're glad you could join us. Please know that you can get more information about the 10X release at any time by visiting go.infor.com/10X. On Tuesday, we had an executive overview of the Infor 10X release from Duncan and Soma. Wednesday, we explored how Infor 10X will change the way you work. Yesterday was make better decisions faster and increase your technology's value. And today is a day full of breakout sessions, and this one is dedicated to Sightline. Following the presentation, as our operator just said, we will have an open question and answer session. And the way you submit your questions, you have 2 options today. You can hit *1, and the operator will assist you with the question. Your line will be open, and you can speak your question. But also know that you can submit your questions at any time via the WebEx Q&A feature, and we'll have them read aloud that way. So now I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speakers today. We have Warren Smith. He's the Industry and Product Marketing Director. Joining Warren, we have Debbie Baldwin, Senior Product Manager here at Infor. And we also have Jerry Walden, Director of Sales Engineering. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Warren. Warren, I know you've got a lot of great content to cover here today, so we'll go ahead and jump in. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you, Laura. Greatly appreciate having everyone on the call today, and thank you for joining us. Got a great lineup here for the next roughly 30 minutes of presentation, and then leave about 30 minutes for your question and answers as we go through it. So let's take a look a little bit about what is 10X. If you were on the calls earlier in this week, you heard a bit about it. Now we're going to make that very specific for what's about 10X for Sightline. What's going to be important for you as a Sightline customer of ours, and what are you going to be able to get out of it? Well, one of the first things you take a look at is the application itself. We call it beautiful, but really it's a very workable interface, very friendly interface, especially for those people who are very comfortable with things like the social networking and such like that, which brings me to point number 2, which is Infor Mingle, the entire social business and social collaboration that can occur now within your organization. No longer are you going to have silos of people that have to basically go yell and shout between each other. You're going to be able to use online tools and be able to communicate very quickly, very rapidly, inside and outside the organization as well. Motion, the mobile apps. None of us want to be tied to our desktop any longer. We want to be able to have those applications quickly and wherever we can have them available. Ion, giving you the ability to integrate within Sightline, outside of Sightline, into other Infor applications, as well as other applications that run your business as well. Again, reducing all those silos of information, silos of business processes. Even more importantly, enriched core features, many enhancements into the Sightline product. Sightline's always been a very strong product. It's been one of the premier applications within the Infor suite and Infor portfolio. A lot of investment going on in there, and on the call today we have people like Debbie Baldwin, who's responsible for where the product goes. Being able to focus deep into the micro-vertical suites. Turns out I happen to be in one of the automotive suites or automotive verticals, but Sightline fits very well in providing that, what I call that 98% right out of the box, ready to run for your specific industry. Being able to have the micro-vertical analytics, being able to have information presented that's in your language, in your industry's requirements. And then finally, hybrid cloud. Where does it reside? It really doesn't matter. It can be on-premise. It can be off-premise. It can be a mixture of both. But being able to provide the software wherever you want it deployed. So with that, mentioned the introductions here. I'll be presenting and starting with. I'll turn it over to Debbie. And we also have Jerry Walden. Jerry Walden will be doing our live demonstrations here with us. So definitely stay tuned for that here. So let's take a look at it. So if we take a look at what is included, what really makes up the 10X suite? Well, we have what we call that SOHO user experience. It's really that current technology environment with the social collaboration motion analytics, as I mentioned there. Then we have taken a look at what goes into the micro-vertical suites of supplying just the right specific capabilities within the suite, whether you're in the equipment manufacturing, your automotive, your high-tech, general manufacturing, distribution, etc. And by the way, we can even take that down even further. So, for example, within automotive, if you're a specialty vehicle manufacturer or, for example, a service parts provider, etc., being able to really dial it in and providing those capabilities, those features that you need to be able to run your business properly. Taking it on top with the technology, with the ION, the Business Cloud, Mongoose, and by the way, Mongoose, for a rapid application development language, is becoming really the de facto standard within the Infor portfolio. Why is that important? Because Mongoose has long been and has really been the development platform within the SyteLine environment. So picking SyteLine, you chose well. You definitely chose well. So let's take a look at it. Supporting growth and change. The economy has come back for most industries in a very, very fast way here. Being able to enabling you to support your business in the growth and requirements that it needs. Now, what's interesting too is you're having a lot of growth requirements, but sometimes you have to work a lot more efficiently because really trimming that fat out, trimming the unnecessary motions out in the business. You've really got to have that in place here, so a system that supports that. Moving on to the optimizing work and optimizing the processes. Working and getting the most out of your most important resource, your human capital. Being able to have people work the way they think, work efficiently, and even importantly as well as the next generation of best and brightest that you're going to be recruiting, they're accustomed to working in a social networking environment. You've got to give them the tools. You know, how many people that would be a recent college grad would be impressed by handing them a stack of green bar paper? As a matter of fact, how many people even remember green bar paper? Being able to take green bar paper and give them a highlighter and say, well, go find all the information out. They're going to look and say, that's not the way I'm accustomed to doing business. They want the information presented the way they want it, and being able to go forward. And reinvesting in the system, reinventing in protecting your investment as well. Knowing that this is just a beginning of a continuous future. You know, this is the first day of the rest of your life. Let's make sure that the systems that are in place today, you can go through and do a upgrade process. If your business changes, acquisitions, divestitures, new business requirements, new government requirements, etc., what all those are coming into play there is giving you a system that is flexible, that you can adapt, and you're not going to be tied in what we call the old cement shoes as you go forward. So again, to recap here a little bit, delivering that industrial solutions in a simple, powerful business platform, getting it to that 98% of what you need. Deployment flexibility, whether it's hosted, in-site, outside, combination of both, taking a look at deploying it wherever you need it. And by the way, on the mobile side of it, being able to consume the data, whether you're at your desk, out on the shop floor, out on the road, field service, etc. Collaboration across the enterprise, having all of your individual people, whether it's engineers, manufacturing people, procurement, all working together with the same information, really drawing out their expertise in whatever those areas are and participating in this decision-making process for quick and decision process as well. And I mentioned the mobility to those business applications wherever they may be. Touch a little bit about ION. If you haven't seen ION before, it is really that universal connector. Whether you're going from ERP such as SyteLine, being able to take that information that's contained within SyteLine, present it as business objects, and by the way, standard OAGIS business documents. This wasn't something that we created on our own here. We looked at industry standards and said, you know what, what's best for our customers? Industry standards are best for our customers. Being able to present that information to things like business vaults or other systems in place, for example, maybe it's a CRM system or a PLM system, etc. Being able to present that information to all the relevant systems, getting rid of all those islands of information as well. Let's take a look at motion. Motion, being able to provide on your BlackBerry or your iPhone, iPad, Android devices, being able to provide the information you need wherever you may need it. So being able to take a look at what we call the Road Worry or Activity Deck, being able to present workflows and events that occur, extremely important. If you think about taking a look at events that occur within the business, in today's environment, you've got to have those known immediately so you can take action before the problem gets worse, being able to have a defined workflow to to follow a prescribed path of solution. Extending the SyteLine core environment, extending it down into the shop floor for barcoding and transactions, or workforce management at that point in time. We're taking it into a number one e-commerce solution. So, for example, being able to sell your service parts if you're a manufacturer, or if you're in the aftermarket, being able to have product catalogs available. And that information in the e-commerce system tied completely and fully back to SyteLine for its system of record, so you're not maintaining systems that are separate, and they're always going to be in sync with one another. Taking a look at BI, and BI is going to be one of our focuses here in just a moment. Debbie's going to step in here. We're going to take a look at the business intelligence, robust, industrial strength, dashboards, analytics that are going to come to you as well. So let's stop and take a look here for just a moment before I turn it over to Debbie and say, well, why is business intelligence important to your business today? Well, it's all about the decision-making. Somebody said years ago, well, it's all about the data. Well, now you've got to be able to take that data, filter it, manipulate it, clean it up, turn it into information, apply human capital to it to turn it into knowledge, and let people make fact-based decisions quickly and efficiently and with traceability as well. Let's take a look at your business as the increasing need for details and analysis. We don't want to make decisions in a vacuum, so we have to be able to look at across all the business functions. For example, taking a look at perhaps manufacturing data to financial data, perhaps it's some production data, etc. Being able to look across all of that, being able to turn that into information, knowledge, and making decisions based on that across the entire organization. Because decisions made in a siloed environment are typically suboptimal. Being able to look at the information across multiple sites, being able to take a look at your entire organization across the globe, being able to make the decisions and being able to look at information that is business completely across all your business. And it's really beyond just the ERP. Being able to look at data that's coming in from external sources as well, being able to apply that in context to SyteLine information that's contained. Next thing is your data size is growing. We all hear the term big data. Well, no matter whether we really buy into the big data or it's just the fact of your transactional systems getting full of a lot of data, you need to be able to pull that data away from the transaction systems, keep it into the BI environment where you really can do the slicing and dicing efficiently and not affect the transactional environment. Obviously, speed is critical. There has to be done fast and capable. Being able to have that data presented anywhere, any place, any time, in any format that you want to be able to present it into. So all of the mobile capabilities as well. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Debbie here. And Debbie's going to go into a little bit more detail now that I've set this up here. And so with that, Debbie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Warren. All of our customers out there are people that are using SyteLine. You do realize that we are able to capture, vast amount of data. So, what does that actually mean for SyteLine? What does Infor BI mean? We're really, really excited about our new offering that we released in April, right before Inforum. So for SyteLine, we wanted to take advantage of all of the Infor BI tools, but we also wanted to give our customers some additional value for their money. So what does that mean? Like you said, Warren, it's very important that our customers can see their data, but also see their data across all sites. So with our content that we have developed, our customers are able to do that. They can also look at their data across many different dimensions, looking at the cubes, being able to slice and dice that information. And then also with the dashboards, the users can see their trends across time. So we wanted to make it really easy for our customers to install. As we started to go out to market, we started to think about, how could we take all these tools and make it easier for our customers to install. So we put a wrapper around all the tools, and the customers only have to download one ISO from the download center. Now, this includes the BI tools as well as the pre-built content. So Infor BI for Sightline includes all of the BI tools, the 10 pre-built Sightline cubes, 4 pre-built Sightline dashboards, and over 24 pre-built reports out of the box. So we did all the work for you. So you might ask, what version will this work with? We certified Infor BI for Sightline with Sightline 803, Sightline 803 and above, and there is an upgrade package. So for those of you that are current on your maintenance with Cognos, we just released an upgrade package this week. So if you need more information and pricing, then you need to talk to your account manager. Our first release of Infor BI for Sightline, it does not require ION or the business vault. We take the import master, and we're using an ETL script to get the data from Sightline to load into the cubes. So that's how we get all of the information over into the BI tool. This is just a list of the 10 cubes that are available, and then also the 4 dashboards. So what tools are required? If you're looking at the PowerPoint, this is a list of all the tools that are required to run Infor BI for Sightline. We're offering a starter pack that includes some of each of these tools, and you can see that I've listed here how many users are included in the starter pack. And then those of you that already have CPM or Infor BI, you probably already own these tools, so it might be that you just have to purchase the Sightline content by itself. And I believe the only other new piece is the dashboards. So, Jerry, I know you're out there, and instead of me just talking about Infor BI, then why don't I turn the controls over to you, and you can just show our customers, give them a little demo of what Infor BI includes.
Absolutely.
Debbie, my apologies. Normally I wait till the end to bring the questions in, but we have a question that just came in from Kirk. Can you put the slide of the cubes and dashboard back up? And then, Kirk, did you have a specific question to go with that, or did you just want to look at it for a moment? And while we're waiting on Kirk's reply there, we have another question from RJ, which reads, which modules are, and I have to go back, there we go. Which modules are the 10 cubes based on? Is Infor included?
No, Infor is not included. It is just the same modules that were included in the Cognos offering that we had before, so sales, purchase orders, inventory, finance. I believe those are the modules, Jerry.
Correct.
Very good. And then, Kirk, we'll come back to your question there if you can give us a follow-up there. So thank you for letting me interrupt. Please continue.
All right. Thank you. Now, for today in our limited time, we'll go through a couple of the products that are part of the Sightline BI story. The first one I believe is going to be, and again, I'm Jerry Walden with Infor. Sorry about that. I believe the first one that we're showing here that you see live on your desktop is the dashboards. This is primarily going to be, I believe, it's going to be one of your main screens that you have your users actively going in and out of. It is the end result of a report that you built out of the analysis cubes that come with the product, and it is one of the standard dashboards that Debbie was explaining. Most of our dashboards, as well as anything that you would build, you can give your users access to any of the filters that would give them immediate change to what data is important to them. If they're in a specific site, they might want to go to just their site's data. Or, again, based on security, you might not have them available to another site's data and only their own home site. But as these filters work, they will auto re-render the data real time. So if you wanted to see, instead of 2012, you want to see 2013, it would go through and reroute the change to that. If you wanted to say, instead of all sales channels, you wanted to just say, you want to see the direct. It would go through and re-render just those charts that are tied to that one parameter. As you saw, one parameter, the years, it was tied directly to the product contribution margin of your business. The sales channel was actually tied to all of them. So that's how, and there is a parameter inside each one of these reports that has sales channel associated to it. It's that straightforward for that. Now, some of the other dashboards that we support on this, you could see, as Debbie was talking about on her initial overview, was the finance. You have inventory and purchasing for that, manufacturing, and sales. I'm currently on the sales and product contribution margin. To take a quick look at the finance, we'll just reload it, and you can see as the information is loading up, actual budgets, top 10 receivables, the P&Ls, all based on whatever data that you have currently running live inside Sighteline. Now, the process is, since this is an analytical tool, we take the data out of your enterprise-wide application, snapshot it, put it into the OLAP, and then give you tools that your users can then go through the data, drill down through the charts, whatever they need to see the data within their business. It is offline as soon as we do the snapshot. Now, having said that, the tools all come with the ability to refresh this data as often as you see fit, whether it's hourly, 3-4 hours, once a day, once a week, whatever. And each individual dashboard or report can have their own set of refresh timing sequence on those. So that's also important to realize. You can see the profit and loss. Now I could go through all of them, and that's fine, but they'll be based on specific data elements throughout the business. Now, one of the questions, if I was out there looking at this, is can I change this? Can I make this unique to myself and have a different dashboard and different, parameters on mine? And the answer is yes. And how you would do that based on security, you just go to your dashboard and just say new dashboard. And that creates a brand new desktop for you. At that point then, you could go into any of the standard reports that we have within all of our dashboards. We could say, like inventory and purchasing. We'll go into inventory and we'll say, no, we'll just do the cost by planner. We'll add that guy in. And you know what? That's okay. But let's see if let's grab him and maybe make him a little bit smaller, and so so we can add a little bit more data to it. Although there is a lot in there, we'll go ahead and add another one. Let's say let's go up to finance, and go into finance, and we'll say let's do the P&L. Let's just drag that over here, and that's good. And maybe we'll grab one more. That one I grabbed is probably a little bit too big for a partial chart, but that's okay. We can go, you know what, let's go into manufacturing. We haven't looked at the manufacturing area. And you can see in here we do scrap quality, top 10 work centers. Let's do top 10. That's probably a good one. Some of the other stuff, little tools that you can use to make this a little bit more, readable, is you can go in and check and see how the width of the data element that you want to look at. We could say, let's go widthwise, we'll go vertical, and we'll fill it in. And we can maybe do this guy up here. Maybe we want to move him over a little bit, and then we'll just say, let's do this guy, and we'll say, we'll just keep him there. I don't care. Keep him there. We'll make him fill out that screen. We'll close this guy down, and you have really, in essence, your new dashboard. So we could do fill it horizontally, fill it vertically, close. Then your only key button that you need to do is just unlock it in design mode, and you're good to go. Now, you notice I didn't put any filters on here. Now, I might want to go back and put filters, but the idea here is to show you that based on what the admin person has offered you as all of your tools across your business, what you have access to, you'd be able to go in and add and change whatever you want. Now, on any of the standard dashboards, you'll have this little button here that will allow you to go in, if you have security, to rename it and change it whatever you want, change the properties of the chart, remove that one specific one that you don't like or whatever. You can copy one. You can even change the permissions if you have security. Now, I'm logged on as the admin, so I could change the person's view role, the administrator role, the master role, be able to control how that dashboard is viewed and utilized for that. So that's just, it's all part of the standard tool for that. Now, one other piece of this puzzle, it's more of a desktop application. Most people, especially in the finance area, have gravitate more towards spreadsheets, spreadsheet analysis, allow me to see the stuff on my desktop and be able to manipulate. That is also part of this tool, and that is called Office Plus. Office Plus is a Microsoft Excel add-in that you apply to your Microsoft Office application. You would have full access to the analysis cubes, the reports, whatever, again, the security allows you to access to. And I could go in and say, let's take a look at sales product contribution margin. You double-click it. Now I'm in Excel. You can use all the standard Excel features that you want. You can use the standard click-down features if you want to just see multi-site. That's another feature of the Sighteline BI is you can install all of your sites in a straightforward spreadsheet example, and the system will automatically connect all sites real-time when you're loading up the data. It's not like you have to create a database connection for each one of your sites. You load up your name of your database, your location in a spreadsheet, and away you go, and the system will connect all of them together. So if you have 20, 30, 40, 50 sites, very straightforward, and to me that was a really nice enhancement over what we were utilizing with the Cognos application years and years ago. So here I could go ahead and click Dallas, Texas, and get my changes that way. If I wanted to see specific products, I could go in and see, whatever, FG100, those product lines. I could also grab, one of these and exchange it with one of those values and then see the values coming down. I could also go in here and say, I don't want to see, empty rows and stuff like that. Other things we could do is change the presentation. We can go in and take a look at it as a chart. Maybe we don't like the charts. We want to see area. All of this is part of the Office Plus piece of Sighteline BI. Now, there's more pieces to it. There's more reporting tools, how you build all this stuff we can do on a case-by-case basis with you as our customers, either directly on site or over WebEx. But at this point, to keep us on track, I'm going to move this back to, who should I move this back to, Warren or Debbie?
You would turn it back over to me here?
You got it.
Perfect. So let's just take thank you, Jerry, and great live review here. So let's just take a quick look at Sighteline itself, just a quick recap here. The question comes up is Sighteline Workbenches or Sighteline BI? Which is it? If you take a look at the workbenches, I consider that, it's the light-duty analysis available to everyone, very quick, very easy. Again, it can install the transactional data at that point in time. It is limited for the most part to Sighteline data only. Very limited multi-site. We'll call it some entry-level analysis. Upside is it's available to all users. We'll call it the quick environment that, you can just throw out there to everyone here. Now you move over to Sighteline BI. Really that extracted data, really getting no impact on the transaction system so you can really dive as deep as you want into it, much deeper analytics, the multiple data sources that are available, being able to draw across the entire organization, cross-site, multi-site, and really gives you that base to say, where do you want to go with this for additional data and additional access here as well. To put it in a nutshell here, I call it the workbench versus the full laboratory. Debbie, any additional comments there?
Well, no. The only thing is, Workbench is built on Mongoose, And like you said, it's real-time data. It's only within Sighteline, whereas the BI tool is you could actually pull data from multiple data sources.
So, well, let's go moving along. And by the way, we have a lot of questions here. I see that we're just going to hold those to the end there. I know some people wanted to look at some additional slides here, and we'll get those up here right at the end here. What I would like to do is moving on from the BI environment here. Let's take a quick look at Mingle. What is Mingle? Why is it important? Well, I mentioned that companies today are really struggling with a shortage of skilled resources in manufacturing. 2008 for a lot of manufacturers saw a lot of the key people retire. They took early retirement buyouts, etc. Well, now the business has come back. Now you're having to go back and rehire a lot of people here. This is the opportunity to start taking a look at bringing in some fresh faces, fresh talent, etc. Being able to get those skilled resources. The engineers coming out of school, as I mentioned before, they really want to work the way that they live. They have grown up on social networking. They've grown up on interfaces that really are much, much different than perhaps what we've seen in the past here. And then being able to have, you can't afford to have silos anymore. You're really being able to have universal view of the organization across all the entire organization. Why is that important? Because the business processes and your products are becoming increasingly complex. I'll give you a good example here. Coming out of the automotive industry, heck, we made axles. Boy, we got really good at machining. Well, now you take those same axles and you're throwing high-tech electronics and software on them and sensors on them. The products are becoming much more complex here at this point. So being able to collaborate across the organization, also into my supply base, etc. Being able to make those decisions faster, at the speed of light, so to speak, and the accountability. Let's face it, it's not good enough to have undocumented decisions. You got to document, especially if you're a publicly held company, for all those controls. So there's some business drivers here. And I'm going to turn it back over to Debbie here. And Debbie, you're going to take this here at this point here and talk a little bit about some of our social networking and being able to use things like Mingle to tie various other applications to Sighteline.
Sure. Thanks, Warren. Right. So Infor Mingle, what is it? Like Warren said, it is a collaboration platform. It allows you to capture all of your vital communication interactions with your employees, as well as integrate your business processes. So Infor Mingle draws on those popular social media sites like Facebook and Twitter. All of us are familiar with that. We use those to connect with our peers and also keep in touch with our family and, find out what everybody's doing. But, Infor Mingle is more than just a news feed. It starts to connect every single part of your organization. And, myself, I typically think of this as, just employees. But it also can mean connecting machinery, equipment, and any number of things within your business. It allows you to collaborate in one shared space, not just those core applications like Sighteline, but it also allows groups that may not be in a core application like Sighteline, so maybe groups like marketing or HR. It allows those people to also collaborate with the rest of the organization. So with that in mind, it speeds up that flow of information. I mean, I don't know how many times that Dinah and I, we both get thousands of emails every single day. And, a lot of times we come in at the tail end of a conversation and we have to go in and we have to read all the way down through the conversations to find out, what the question actually is. So with Infor Mingle, you can set up those groups so that people in those groups are a part of that discussion right from the very beginning. And I can keep up with what's going on in that conversation. And if I want to have a part of that conversation, then I can. And it also allows you to help build your knowledge base. Dinah and I, like I said earlier, we receive a lot of emails, and a lot of emails that we get are duplicates. We get the same questions asked to us over and over and over again. So one thing that Dinah and I have discussed internally using Infor Mingle for ourselves is to set up a group, say maybe for sales, and have questions out there specifically towards something like licenses. We get questions about licenses, different types of licenses all the time. So if we put that out on Infor Mingle, our sales team can go out there and they can search on those types of questions. If they have a question about CRM licensing or things like that, they can search on that and try to get the answer themselves before they actually have to come to us, which is going to be nice. So we're going to try to put that into our process very soon. It allows you to create a social business graph. So what are all your assets? What are all the people within your enterprise that need to be connected? And how can I follow those people or those assets so that I can communicate not only with those people, but with the assets within my organization? Now, Infor Mingle is not on top of or outside of your application like so many other things like Twitter or Facebook. It's actually integrated to every single component of your business application. So if you have multiple applications like Sightline, Infor SyteLine, and EAM, it actually will connect those pieces together. So, Jerry, I know that you also have some examples of what you actually want to show live from
Sure.
Mingle. So I'm going to turn this over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Go right into Mingle. Mingle, again, with Sightline, is completely all together. It's what's around Sightline. It's what's around your business. There'll be all sorts of different looks and feels you can have with Mingle. This just happens to be my look and feel for a home page. Mingle is designed around the social community. So what is your community? Is it specific groups, community groups, Sightline user network? That might be one of your groups. Of course, your colleagues within your organization would be part of that. You would be able to have access to your Twitter feed, whatever you're reporting or you're joined, so you can keep an eye out on what, if anything, is happening within the market space with your business, or if it's just local within your own company, that also is doable as well for that. You'll see these, what we call business intelligence or embedded BI tools for notifying you when something has happened within your business, or there's more information maybe to look at for that. But Mingle itself, as Debbie said, is a collaborative tool. We can go in here and, say whatever, hey, purchasing, and my typing's not the best, but hey, purchasing, please review the attached info prior to our meeting today. And then you go ahead and use the standard tools for that. You would just go through whatever, whatever you want to do. We'll just do something goofy. We'll add that in there. So that would be that. We'd go ahead and say, well, who do we want to send it to? Well, we'll send it to the public group. And we'll say, or probably I'd send it to my colleagues, but or I'd send it to this specifically my purchasing idea. Now, there's an even better use of this links tool is when you're starting to talk about collaborating about Sightline related areas where, there might be a job, there might be an item, there might be a purchase order, there might be a quality, there might be a customer service question. Instead of trying to find that person throughout the facility, they have access it on their cell phone, on their laptop, wherever they are. You go ahead and send them a note about Sightline. There might be something inside Sightline you want to tell them about, whether it's the item master, whether it's a job. We can just take a simple example here. Job might have, say, a projected date or a completion date that doesn't marry up with whatever the customer wants, and you want to go ahead and notify someone in customer service that we have a problem with some tooling, a problem with a machine. The way we can do that, and if you notice over here, some of this stuff will come out. You'll have, what we call in-context BI that could give you more information about that job. We have all sorts of different options that are in there, like planned, labor cost. These are all tailorable by yourselves. where you go in and see specific information about whatever record you're on. That's part of the Mingle experience. That's part of the UI experience of Infor 10X. You can see here we can go ahead and share this within the Mingle group that we want, or what I like to do is I'd rather share the job, and we take this information, and I've got tagging turned on, so I can literally explain to you how, when someone looks at this, how they can drill back into Sighteline. They're going to know what the job is. They're going to know what the warehouse is. They're going to know what the items is. Or we can simply turn that off, and so you don't have to see that. But we'll just say, hey, whatever, customer service, have an issue with tooling, on the attached job, just say on the job below, please be aware delivery dates will be impacted. Will be impacted. So not a good thing, but it does happen. Everyone knows that in the business. So I could go ahead and say colleagues. I could say groups. I could say whoever I wanted to go with this. I'll just say colleagues is fine, and then post, and that's it. So they have it. Now I could go ahead. You don't need to have this open. We go back to our Mingle. We should be able to see then. Now, as a real scenario, I'd be logged on, of course, as another person. I would log on to my Mingle. I would have gotten a message. I'd be monitoring whatever, any communications coming in and out around the business. I see this one, hey, customer service. I've logged on to my customer service. Please be aware there's going to be a delivery impact. It's like, that's not good. So let's go ahead and show links. It's this job. Okay, so let me go ahead. It would drive me back into Sighteline, drive me right back to that specific job. I could then review the data, do whatever I need to do, or comment on it, whatever I wanted to do. But if I could keep, as Debbie and Dinah struggle back and forth trying to keep everything together, they would just go back and add more and more threads to the existing Mingle event. So I just go in and leave a comment. Say, yes, reviewed the job, will contact the customer. And that's it, and post. And I've done it. Now, the key there is all of our communication, all of our collaboration across all of our facilities are on a system. So as the next person joins this thread, they can see everything that's been posted ahead of it. They can go to any of those records. They could add more to it, just review it. They could, in our next release, paparazzi? They could just follow messages, not have to join it, but just follow it and just watch it as an administrator or as a VP. I'm just watching anything associated with this specific customer ever that comes up. It'll track it for me. So that way I can always understand all communications that are happening with a specific customer, specific product, specific plant. That, to me, is how this application can really help you immediately start collaborating, start monitoring all of the communications, and actually then allow you to drive right back into the product detail for that. So that's what I wanted to share with everyone, Debbie. So if you want, or Warren, I'll send it back
over to me here. Thank you, Jerry. I think hopefully it became quite clear that being able to have those embedded links, for example, being able to create messages that really have all the additional information. You don't have to rekey any of that is definitely important. I know people like me who can't type very well. I'd be transposing numbers and such like that, and people can't figure out what I'm talking about if I didn't have a tool like that. So definitely I see that. So with that, just a quick recap here. I know we're running very short on time. What I would like to do is open this up for and really turn it back to Laura here. We have a slew of questions that we definitely need to get answered. And so with that, we've got Debbie Baldwin and Jerry on the line here for answering the questions. So, Laura, take it away with questions.
Fantastic, and thank you to everybody who was on the panel there, Gary, Debbie, and Warren. That was fantastic information. Let's go back to Kirk's question from earlier. He was the one who wanted to see the slide of the cubes and dashboards again, and what he was really wondering there, Debbie, was what areas were covered in the initial cubes and dashboards. Specifically, was it inventory and manufacturing efficiency?
Yes, inventory, manufacturing, finance, ARAP, order entry, sales, purchasing. I believe those are the areas. Jerry, did I miss anything?
No, that's it. You got it.
All right. And now let's go on to a question from RJ, which reads, is there a list of all supported visualizations? Are geomaps like Google or Bing Maps supported?
Actually, maps are fully supported, tracked within Mingle. It is one of our web parts, so it is, and it is integrated to SyteLine according to the address structure that you have set up for your ship tos, drop ships, and build tos. And it can be utilized to do turn-by-turn direction, as well as use Google Satellite as well.
Perfect, and great question there. Let's go to the one from Aniket, which reads, can we use BI tool for field service module?
Debbie, the answer, of course, is yes, because all the data is available for that. My question then would be for Debbie: are we going to be building any analysis cubes for field service? I know the initial release we have not.
Yeah, we have not, Jerry, and we do have a roadmap for Infor, BI for SyteLine.
Okay.
And so we're going to continue to enhance the product going forward. We probably will do that at some time, but out of the box today, that hasn't been done.
Okay.
All right, and the next question from Kirk, does the Excel plugin use standard pivot tables, or is it a proprietary plugin?
It is. It can use anything that's standard with Microsoft Excel. That's one of the first things to state. But when I was showing the drill down and the chart columns that pulled in when we brought in a report or an analysis cube, that was the open API that comes with the Office Plus. That is not a standard pivot table. That is, I don't call it proprietary, but I guess, okay, let's call it proprietary. It is Infor's, we'll call it that, Infor's Application Studio plugin for Office Excel.
Okay, and similarly, Katerina wants to know, what is the database and the ETL tools used? Is it MS SQL?
It is. It's Microsoft SQL is all the database repository. And we don't call that out on any screens, but it is. It's Microsoft SQL, and what we call projects, you can view those as additional tables within the SQL database that stores the information for a given snapshot or a given metric within it.
Okay. And then we've got a comment here from another person who says he'd probably like to set up a separate call to review more details about functionality. So with that in mind, whom should our listeners reach out to? Is it somebody on this call today? Should they be reaching out to their account executives? What's their next best step?
Their next best step is, as typical, is their account manager. Their account executives should be contacted. They are the kind of the inside person for all of our customers within Infor that can find the correct person. Now, most likely that person is going to come from my group, but we always like it to go through the account executive. So that would be the correct person.
Thank you. We'll move on now to a question from George, which reads, is the BI an added module or is it standard part of the package?
That is an added module. It is an add-on.
Okay, and now from Jim, and my apologies for going quickly here, but we've got a lot of great questions queued up. Jim would like to know, do the BI charts provide any integrated drill-down capability? He didn't see that in the demonstration today.
Yes, we didn't show. I'm sorry, I didn't go through that. We could have. Yes, every one of the charts or any one of the cells has full drill down into additional reports or additional views for that. Now, what it does not do, it does not go back into Sighteline. It stays within the OLAP processing cube and data model for that. So, but it does. It can go drill down within that cube anywhere where the data was residing in a summarized view for that.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Now to Mark. His question reads, do you need a license to view the dashboard information?
Debbie, I believe that is a yes, correct?
Yes. Yeah, it's a separate, the dashboard is a separate application that does require a license.
Thank you. And the question from Jim reads, are motion screens developed for SL9?
They are. Actually, the motion screens for Road Warrior are all going to be integrated to 9 CRM, customer service, and field service areas for that. So.
Perfect. Thank you. And another question from Kirk. Kirk, thanks for being here today. Lots of fantastic questions here. Is Mingle workflow enabled? Will certain conditions trigger Mingle alerts, such as late shipment?
That is part of the standard package with Activity Deck. Activity Deck with Ion workflow will have automatic triggers based on the data elements within the Ion messaging. So the answer is yes for that.
Okay. And I'm going to skip ahead to a question that's a follow-up question from Aniket, and this reads, regarding the account executive, can we contact channel partners or Infor?
Yes. If you're a channel partner,
or perhaps working through a channel partner.
Yes. If you're a customer or channel partner, then please contact your channel partner. If you are a customer of Infor and you want to work with a channel partner, yes, that is fine. But our account manager would also like to be notified as well for that. Okay.
So essentially, no matter what, we're going to help make sure you're taken care of.
Exactly.
All right. Now a question from Sean. It reads, I believe I heard Ion is not required for BI, but it is required for Mingle and shop floor, et cetera. Can you confirm?
That is correct. The initial release of Sightline BI will not require Ion. It'll do its own point-to-point integration to Sightline. However, in the later fall, we will be bringing out the Ion version for Sightline BI so that it can also mix with the data from any other application within the BI Vault for Ion. Now, correct, Mingle to utilize events, to utilize Activity Deck, and the shop floor motion would require Ion. That is correct.
Thank you. And next question from Kirk, can we create our own cubes? If we have SSAS cubes, can these be used in custom cubes and dashboards?
First is yes, you're allowed to start from scratch with this entire tool. And actually, if you add additional database tables in the Sightline, additional fields in Sightline, you can remap those with what's called the import master. And then that import master can recreate existing cubes or build new cubes from scratch for that. So the answer is yes. Now, I am not familiar with the term SSAS cubes. All I do know is that the cube technology and the import capabilities of Infor BI for Sightline allows full data source utilization outside of Sightline, whether it's Oracle database, whether it's another SQL database, whether it's Access, whether it's Excel, or just a data file, an XML. It will support that as well. Hopefully that answers that question for that.
Oh, okay. And then again, I think we can direct back to account managers for further clarification and anything else, which leads to the next question, which is from Sean. How do I find who my account manager is?
I think the best thing for that would be is to send an email to either myself or Debbie or Dinah Gratis, and we will find that information for you.
Right.
Excellent. Now we have two more questions that have come in through the Q&A. We are just about at the top of the hour. Warren, my apologies for not asking you this earlier. Do we have a hard stop, or do we have flexibility to take a few more questions or maybe a couple over the phone?
Oh, let's take
what is your preference?
Don't mind.
Okay. And operator, if you could remind everybody how to submit their questions over the phone, we'll get that queued up and then go ahead and take the next question that is already here in the WebEx.
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad.
Thank you so much. So, yes, press star 1, and we'll get you queued up in there. In the meantime, this question is from Ralph. Will performance management run off the Infor 10X platform?
That's correct, yes. It is fully integrated with the 10X platform. I just happen to show it standalone.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then from Jim, does motion require ION?
Motion does require ION, yes. The Road Warrior application within Motion, it does require ION.
Thank you. All right. So, operator, at this point, do we have anybody raising their hand on the phone?
There is one question from the line of Craig Linder. Your line is open.
Hey, Craig, if you've muted yourself, go ahead and chime on in.
No, I don't have a question. That was just from earlier when I was trying to get connected to the conference.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you're here. And, Craig, do you know who your account manager is?
I believe it's Lori Robson, I think.
Oh, there you go, Lori. Good. Lori's very good. She'll be able to help you out on any question.
Thanks, Craig. Hey, operator, do we have anybody else queued up with a question over the phone?
There are no further questions at this time.
All right. So that does exhaust the questions that we've had come in through the WebEx platform. And with that, we have made it just past the top of the hour. Let me just reach out to Elmer and say thank you so much for your comment that you shared with me here. And Warren, Elmer is looking forward to a session that is dedicated to Sighteline. So while all of the Motion, Mingle, and BI, everything else is really exciting, he's looking forward to a Sighteline dedicated presentation. Do you have any of that queued up, or do you know if you have anything scheduled in the not too distant future?
There will be some things coming up. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but as Sighteline is one of our key products, there's oftentimes many that are specifically around Sighteline. So always looking for his input as well. And if you've got content that you'd like us to cover, feel free to reach out to us, to Debbie, Dinah, myself, or Jerry Walden, and we'll see if we can put something together for you.
Perfect. And with that, we have exhausted the questions through the WebEx and through the phone. So I need to, we have one more just slip right in. Thanks, Jim. Can we create our own motion apps?
That I am not certain on. That's a great question. But I am not certain. That one we'll have to follow up. Now unless, Debbie, you have that answer.
Yeah, I think with the Motion platform, I don't think you can make personalizations and create your own. However, with the Sighteline mobile, you are able to create your own Motion apps.
Right. If you look, that's correct. Jim, if you look at the Mongoose application with Sighteline and a mobile license underneath the Motion platform with Mongoose, you have complete control over all screen display, alerts, messages, everything within that.
Perfect. All right. So there we are, Jim. Thanks for getting that extra question in just in time. With that, I'm going to start to wrap things up. I do want to encourage everybody to go to a nice little website that we've got built for you to find more information. It is go.infor.com/10x. And I want to say a big thank you to Warren, to Jerry, and to Debbie for all of your time here, your expertise here. And Rick, I see your question there. I'll get that forwarded on, and we'll have them follow up with you offline there. So